have that desire, what steps do we need to take to be able to get there? So I want to be able to empower you guys, give you some information, and then also offer you an opportunity as well to be able, because we recruit daily on a daily basis, within Primary Point, all states, Puerto Rico, and Canada, and we need more people within our community to sit down with other families, to be able to educate. Very, very simple. So let me just kind of get started. Some of today's financial challenges, and you can kind of, maybe you can kind of relate. Nearly half Americans have less than 500 in savings, right? More than half all workers have less than 25,000 in savings and investments for retirement. You know, retirement is really kind of right around the corner if you think about it.
It is.
These years go by so fast, but we have to get in position, right? 95 million of U.S. index have no life insurance, guys.
Wow.
And when we think about it, most of the time we know what we're supposed to do. We know what we're supposed to have. It's a matter about putting the action behind it. So you can get all the education in the world. You can have all the degrees in the world. But if you don't implement it, then what's the point?
Exactly.
Right?
Put yourself in a budget.
Yeah,
if anything.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. So average household has at least, one credit card, nearly like almost 16,000. Now, my mom taught me earlier on, don't credit cards are the devil. So you got to be careful. So I never, got into all of that. But you have a lot of people that do, because what happens is, think about it, you operate out of crisis. You operate out of panic. But our God is not of such. So I can talk about that with you guys because but it's not. So we got to learn how it's conditioned. You got to condition yourself, to come up out of it, okay? And it's not going to be easy. But if you can relate to any of that, then it's time to make a change, okay? So now let's talk about the investments, and these are a couple other stats real quick. More than half Americans have less than, like I said, 1,000 in savings. Then you got most 75% of Americans admit that they have to start saving for retirement way earlier than they actually really do. Protection. When we talk about protection, at least almost 70% of households would feel the financial impact of, if they lost primary wage earner in 2 years or less, with more than half feeling the impact within 6 months. So that's really, we have to be able to protect our assets, okay? Nearly half, 48% of U.S. households don't have enough life insurance. And this is one thing that resonated with me because, our families, I don't know about you guys, but grandparents and, maybe some moms, whatever, you had the insurance agent that was white would come to, the house and write up all these policies. But what we didn't know was, and they were getting insurance for, they were these small policies, whole life policies, and they're paying a lot of money for it. And so what I learned going through classes and stuff is that, we don't need life insurance all of our life. It's all about, having it there to protect us in case we die prematurely, but then we got to have the investment piece. And so that's what I wanted to, really it's kind of like a crusade, that we do, is trying to educate our families on it. Because you got a lot of, our grannies and, aunts and uncles and all of that, they hold on to that because they're fearful because they don't know any better or they don't know anything. So we just have to empower them as well as far as that goes. And then look at the debts. When we talk about 40% of Americans spend up to half of their monthly income on debt payments. So I'm going to talk to you guys about order, and doing something, as far as order goes. And we already talked about the credit card. Income, 78% full-time workers live paycheck to paycheck. Can y'all relate? Sometimes live under paycheck, just one paycheck away from, really being on the streets, honestly. Yes, and that's real. Even the ones that you think got good paying jobs, sometimes they're living beyond their means. And a lot of times you don't even know it because they're struggling. Pride, really kind of gets us. Right, Rosie? Mm-hmm. At least 80% of adults, like I said, live the anxiety of about to raise costs for the health care. Think about that. Money emergencies and income and savings. So we'll talk about that. All right, so here we go. If you guys would get the house, we're going to talk about steps to building financial wealth. And this house, when I say God, this was a game changer. This changed and put everything in perspective because again, when we're out there working and, on the jobs, think about when we're talking about budget plan or cash flow plan, what is the most active word? Is it a budget plan or a cash flow plan?
I have to budget all the time.
Okay. But Rosina, can you budget if you don't have no money?
No.
Okay. So think about, you have to be able to have some type of flow of cash, some type of flow of income coming in before we can start a budget. So when you're talking about the foundation of the house, would you start with the roof or would you start with, the foundation? Right. So if I give you this order, would you be able to implement this in your life?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guarantee that you do everything strategically as it says there. I'll tell you, when I came in, my credit score was like in the 500s. Okay, wasn't making a whole lot. Even when you get a degree, they still say you have to have experience. Well, how you gonna get the experience? So all of that. So even having a master's degree and things, I started my first job. It was in the group home's primary care treatment facility, making $9.25 with a master's degree. But you stay humble, because I've been working since I was 15. So you got to keep yourself and saying, I'm just passing through. So when I talk to people, you got to say, I'm just passing through. I'm just passing through. I'm not going to be here forever. This is not my final stop. So you gain what you need to gain, and then you keep it moving. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you got to stay humble, right? Humble beginnings, right? Yes. All right. So now, and there's some scriptures on here too. I think, I don't know if there's scriptures on there, but there are scriptures that we kind of talked to when I did the church, seminars as well. So the first, your protection plan, when we talk about that, there's the big seven. And I always thought about, when you are a young adult, you're thinking, how do I get in a position? Because sometimes these things right here, your parents may not even know, or, they're just like, again, they're just doing the best they can. So, but there is order. There is order to life. You do realize that, right? We just got to figure out, okay, what's that order? So your protection plan, you got to make sure that you have your own personal life insurance away from your job. Why, Alexis, do we want it away from our job? Do you know?
In case you get laid off or fired.
There you go. A lot of times a job, and we live in Tennessee, it's at-will state. So they can fire you just if you look wrong, right? If you just, so we have no control when it comes to a job. Now, not to say we don't need it for a stepping stone, because most of the time we do, okay? But you learn what you need to learn, take those transferable skills, and you get your business. You get all that stuff up and running, because that's what it is that's holding us back, is that ownership. We have to be able to do that and break the cycle. So yes, you're right, Alexis, it is. You gotta think ahead. I gotta make sure I have my own the right insurance away from the job. So I'm not held to that job. They're not gonna hold me hostage because of some benefits, right? We think about benefits all the time.
Benefits are what we think. Yeah.
Right. But if I told you have what it takes to have your own benefits individually, you know what I'm saying? We're fearful. So health insurance, disability, renters, homeowners, auto insurance, living will, especially if we have children, long-term health insurance. Those are your big seven. So we got to make sure that block there. Then the foundation is not going to build us wealth. It's just going to get us, where our house is going to be able to stand with our pillars. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so emergency fund. There's three. We gotta have an emergency fund set up. So there's three emergency funds fundamental. So you got your emergency, you got your short term, you got your wealth builders. The IRA. So when you think about this, it's like life is going to happen no matter what. As long as we keep living, life is gonna go like this. If you think about your heart rate, it's like this. Yes. That means we living. If it goes straight, that means we dead. So we're not gonna die. We're gonna keep living. All right, we're gonna keep living through. We gotta weather the storm because it's there to build us. It's there to stretch us. It's there to make us better. So that way we can say, hey, I went through it. I understand. I can relate. Especially, Roseanne, if you're doing social service, right? People gotta be able to relate to you.
Real talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So once we get that going, then we want to be able to make sure we have our three, which is our debt freedom plan. Okay.
Okay,
no problem. Our debt freedom plan. You want me to wait on you?
What do you need?
Okay. And our with our debt freedom plan, we talk about debt stacking. Having a free financial needs analysis. You got to know where you are so you can know where you're going.